Could you see a scenario, depending on what they find in their probe, of unseating the current member and seating Rita Hart if it came to that?
Chad is always the hypothetical. Could you see a scenario?
That would be a pretty bold move.
Yeah, but there could be a scenario to that extent.
There could be. It's another move creating quite a stir on Capitol Hill, the Iowa 2nd congressional race. Republican Congresswoman Marionette Miller-Meeks has been certified the winner in Iowa by 6 votes, extremely tight, over Democrat Rita Hart. She's been seated in the House, but it is not over, and it's hard to believe. We brought you this story. Congresswoman Miller-Meeks joins us tonight. Thanks for being here.
Good evening, Bret. Thank you so much for having me on.
I want to put up the vote in the 2nd Congressional District. Total votes, 394,625. You got 196,964 to 196,958, a 6-vote difference, certified by the Iowa Secretary of State. But yet, there is this doubt. Why?
There's no doubt in my mind, and there is no doubt in the bipartisan executive council who has certified me the winner. So it was not only the Secretary of State, it was a bipartisan executive council. So let me, elucidate the facts. I won by a very large margin on election night. Then, per Iowa law, all the counties, there are 24 counties in the 2nd Congressional District. In those 24 counties, they have their official county canvass. After the official county canvass, I was still ahead in votes. Then my opponent requested a recount. Throughout the recount process, which is a bipartisan recount board of 3 members, each county having a recount board, I was still ahead through all of that process. So every legal ballot and vote was counted throughout that process. At every step of the way, I was the winner, and then was certified by my state. And as I said, a bipartisan executive council certified me the winner of that election. I was then sworn in on January 3rd. And interestingly enough, during the swearing-in ceremony, there was a vote taken if all the members of from every state should be seated. Every Democrat voted that every member should be seated, and no one contested, no one stood up on the House floor and contested my being sworn in as the Congresswoman from the 2nd Congressional District.
And yet they are now. There's a House administration hearing that happened on Wednesday, and here's Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren.
The contestant, former Iowa State Senator Rita Hart, has raised specific, credible allegations that enough validly cast ballots were wrongly excluded. It should not be surprising that any candidate in these circumstances, with a margin this close, would seek to exercise their rights under the law to contest the results.
There's all of this talk about a contested election and how once it's certified, it's a done deal. And yet in this case, Congresswoman, they are continuing to contest it. Is there a chance that you're not going to be a Congresswoman after all this?
Well, there's certainly a chance. And, I want to bring up, if it's not enough to win an election by 6 votes, then why is it enough to have 6 votes of Democrats on a commission to overturn an election? So Iowa law is what, determines what our election process is, how the ballots are included, and all of that was done. What my opponent wants to do is to violate Iowa law, to go against Iowa law and go against the representation of the voters of Iowa and disenfranchise 400,000 voters in Iowa because she didn't get the results she wanted. And she said that in a video. She said that she skipped over the Iowa courts and had to go to the House Committee on Administration to get the results we need. Not the results of the voters, not the results of the election law in Iowa, but to have Congress decide who gets to represent Iowa's 2nd Congressional District. Everybody across the country should be outraged by this. And I certainly have been encouraged by those people across the country who have reached out to me and told me they're contacting their representatives to let them know their displeasure. So, Iowa courts, a state should rule their election, voters in that state should decide who represents them. But this is a process where they want to go against the laws of our state, the election laws of our state, against the voters of our state, and determine who they want to seat in Congress.
Well, listen, I don't know anyone else who's covering this, and we will continue to cover it. Congresswoman, thanks very much. And obviously the slim majority in the House is a part of this equation as well. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you so much.
Up next, the battle over getting students